first of all, for those of you that didn't know anything about Croydon, well, where is Croydon? Croydon is situated just 15 minutes outside of central London. It's in the southeast of the country. Connectivity is a word that we often use when it comes to Croydon, and that's because it is arguably London's best connected borough. This next slide is showing you exactly where it is in relation to some of the other important transport hubs that you will need to know if you choose to invest in Croydon. And you can see there as they come up, most importantly, 15 minutes away from the centre of London, either to London Victoria or London Bridge, and the main reason that a number of businesses are currently relocating out of central London into Croydon is because they can so easily get back into the centre of town. We have a train that leaves Croydon approximately every 5 minutes, so you can actually get into central London from Croydon far more easily than you can from other key areas in London. So very, very strong transport routes. Our connectivity with Gatwick is also important. You will all know that Gatwick wasn't afforded the second runway, it was given to Heathrow recently. That doesn't stop the importance of Gatwick for Croydon as an economic driver. Gatwick currently employs around 25,000 people. They do still expect to grow that employment potential, and many of those people will want to live in Croydon because they can get on a train in just 15 minutes to get to work. Also, Gatwick does connect very favourably with over 200 international destinations, and you can get here direct now from Gatwick in just 12 hours. And Gatwick actually serves 96 more frequently and faster than any other destination. So out of those 200 locations, Croydon is also a very convenient place to live. You might not want to go into London, you might want to enjoy some of the green spaces that are around Croydon. And all these places that are coming up now on this slide are within really easy reach. Wimbledon, the Wimbledon Tennis Championship is just 35 minutes away on the tram system. A lot of people now choosing to live in Croydon, work in Wimbledon. We have a number of historic houses and palaces within easy reach. Croydon itself boasts 8 golf courses. You wouldn't think that when you think about that word cloud. Somebody said the word concrete. Actually, Croydon is one of London's greenest boroughs, and it has 8 golf courses within its footprint, and in addition, a number of others nearby. Horse racing is very easily accessible from Croydon. We have Epsom Downs Racecourse and the Derby. We have Lingfield Racecourse, Brighton Racecourse, Kempton Park, all within very, very easy commutable distance. So Croydon is not just about London. We often talk about Croydon being the best place situated to enjoy both the capital, the coast, and also the country. There are very few places that you could invest in that would give you all those 3 elements within very, very easy reach. We're also very proud of our football team. Crystal Palace Football Club, we do like our football, and we have a Premier League football club that adds to our culture and the offer that is Croydon. So what is Croydon? Well, Croydon is London's biggest borough by population. Now, anywhere else it would be a city. It can't be a city for all the reasons that there are for making a city, one of which we don't have a cathedral, which I'm told is very important if you're going to be a city. So we won't ever get city status, but in terms of its size, it is London's largest borough by population, with nearly 400,000 people currently living there. With growth anticipated, Croydon is expected to grow by 15 to 20% in the next 20 years. So it hasn't reached its potential, it's still got growth potential. And it has capacity. In terms of its capacity, in terms of regeneration, the size of Croydon and the regeneration offer is bigger than most other places that you will have heard of in London in terms of investment opportunity. So it's actually 3 times the size of Wembley as a regeneration opportunity. It's 3 times the size of the regeneration that took place on the Olympic Park. And then moving up the scale there, you'll see King's Cross 5 times, and lastly Earl's Court. So people don't appreciate that in a very, very small, concise area that's Croydon Town Centre, we have huge regeneration planned and happening in the town centre. But a few of you talked about past perceptions, and many of you have come today with perhaps a different perception of Croydon. So why is that, and why has it taken this long for Croydon to be recognised as this opportunity borough? Well, Croydon was first regenerated in the 1960s, and back then Croydon really did showcase post-war optimism, and the town was transformed through, back then, modernist architecture. And you can see here some of the images from the 60s. This was the new urban model. This was what was being heralded, and at the time it was very much a very innovative forward-thinking place. Sadly, not a lot then changed for 40 years, and everything else around it was developed in other boroughs, was brought forward, and that architecture, which now is brutalism architecture, which we're now sort of celebrating, it did remain, and there wasn't a lot of attractiveness apart from, quite frankly, a lot of concrete and most of the time empty buildings that weren't fit for purpose. They were no longer fit for commercial office space, and so over a period of time the perception of Croydon was negatively perceived. This is an image of the Whitgift Shopping Centre when it was first built. The Whitgift Shopping Centre is an iconic shopping centre in terms of people's perceptions of Croydon. It was last regenerated back in the 90s, and when that happened it was covered over, it was given a roof, and believe it or not, it was London's largest covered shopping centre right up until the time that Westfield opened in London in 2008. But it's now a sad shopping centre, a tired shopping centre, needs to be revitalised, and the good news is that Westfield is coming. The other image that I need to share with you is the image of Croydon back in August 2011, when the riots happened across London. A very sad and distressing time for a number of places, and Croydon was quite badly affected by that. Croydon is an extremely diverse borough, and it has pockets of deprivation and pockets of great wealth as well, but it is extremely diverse. Whilst the riots clearly were not a good thing, what it did do is it galvanised some action, and it's really following the riots in 2011 that things began to change quite dramatically in Croydon. What the riots did is it focused attention from the government, from the GLA, from the local authority to realise that they had to do something to change the place Croydon, and that attracted significant investment. So this brings us up to Croydon, and our time is now. And that's a phrase which we're using very much at the moment in the borough. We really do believe that the time for Croydon is now, and any opportunities that have been missed in the past are in the past. But we're not alone in thinking that. And two big followers of Croydon, Boris Johnson and the new Mayor of Croydon, Sadiq Khan, have all are playing their part in Croydon's future. Post-riot, Boris Johnson awarded Croydon a significant amount of money. It also recognised Croydon as an opportunity area, recognising that it had the capability and the capacity for significant redevelopment. And that confidence that came from the Mayor of London at the time and the money that it brought in back in 2012 made a big difference. More recently, in 2015, Croydon's been awarded growth zone status. What this means is that Croydon has the power to retain 50% of the revenue generated from the town centre business rates to help bring forward the £5.25 billion regeneration programme. And Croydon, the London Borough of Croydon, asked for some growth zone status to enable them to control some of the funds that were coming in through business rates that could then be reinvested back into infrastructure. And the great news is that that's happened. There's a £7 million fund in amongst a number of other funds that have now been dedicated to make the regeneration a reality. So over the period of the last few years, people have started to say some positive things about Croydon. And in September 2014, London First, the agency that was brought forward by the GLA to encourage international investment into the capital, for the first time
suddenly woke up and realised that Croydon was an opportunity. And this was a statement that they made at the time. They said it was one of the best new opportunities that the capital had to offer. So 2014 was a very interesting turning point. I want to share with you some of the commercial opportunities that are going on in Croydon. Croydon is and has been home to a number of large UK and international headquarters in terms of office occupiers. So coming up in the bottom left-hand corner, we've always been home to AIG, to Mott MacDonald, to Allianz Global Assistance, to Aon, to LV Insurance. These are big international names that have chosen Croydon as their home and their international head offices. Significantly, what's happened in the last really year is that we've now started to attract other occupiers, and they're big, significant names. So the Body Shop, back in February, closed their London Bridge office and relocated their UK and international head offices to Croydon, bringing with them around about 250 employees. Superdrug have opened their head office now in Croydon, and just a matter of months ago you will have read that the Home Office, HMRC, has also paid a significant amount of money to take the Ruskin Square commercial space that is available just next to East Croydon Station, and they are relocating a significant numbers of HMRC employees into the borough. So this is really a sea change for Croydon. If you went back 5 years, no one was moving into Croydon. People were moving out of Croydon, not choosing to stay. But this has all happened in the last year to 18 months. And the other big difference that's happened in the last year to 18 months is that large institutional investors that previously didn't have an interest in Croydon are now fighting over interests in Croydon. So you see up there LaSalle Investment Management, Hermes, M&G. They didn't have any interest up until about a year and a half ago, and they have now all significantly invested in the buildings that are in Croydon. So a really changing economy, which leads us to the fact that Croydon is the UK's fastest growing economy. The GVA grew by 9.3% over the past year. So we know that the economy of Croydon is booming and is going to continue to grow. I want to just touch upon education, very important in terms of investment for the future. If you're going to invest in the future of Croydon, you want to know that the schools have the capacity, that the education system is going to bring forward some highly skilled people. And we're very proud of the fact that we have a significant number of very, very top schools within London, in fact, within the country. Most significantly, some of you will have heard of John Whitgift. Now, John Whitgift was the Archbishop of Canterbury back in 1596. And he went to Queen Elizabeth at the time and asked if he could have permission to build a hospital in Croydon and also a school for boys. The Whitgift Foundation now still exists in Croydon. It has the almshouses, which is an incredibly rich heritage site right in the middle of the retail core. And it does still run 3 of the top independent schools in the country, offering very large bursaries as part of their charity status to encourage more the lower end of our population to actually be able to access top schools within the borough. So we're very proud of our educational status. The next slide shows you the amount of developments that are currently happening just in the town centre. So this is a map of the opportunity area as recognised by the GLA, and this shows 57 sites which are currently in the process of being redeveloped. And you'll see there's a key there that tells you whether they're residential, commercial or mixed use, and at what state they are. Have they planning? Are they approved? Are they on site? Are they delivered? This is as going back to that slide about our capacity for growth. This just shows you the amount of potential that Croydon has. And 15 Lansdowne is there. It's number 3 on the map, which is there. You can see it's right in the middle of everything that is happening in Croydon. This map is actually available interactively. If you want to spend some time looking at it afterwards, we have it on an iPad that we can show you if you want to go into it in a bit more detail. And I think we will also be able to send you a copy of it through your email system. So all this adds up to really Croydon being recognised as the UK's newest hotspot. And it's not just us saying that. So go back 5 years, you couldn't have opened a newspaper that would talk positively about Croydon. Now there isn't a week that doesn't go by when one of the main property papers, nationally, internationally, trade press, are putting up a headline about the fact that Croydon is the new hotspot. It's the new development opportunity. And there's just some examples there of the press that Croydon is currently receiving. Somebody asked about Brexit. I'm not going to dwell on it because I know that IP Global are far more up on this type of thing. But just in terms of our view and our partners' view, really it's business as usual for us in Croydon. We don't believe that we have been affected. There was an initial knee-jerk reaction, probably lasting no more than 3 weeks. Our partners are now experiencing the same, if not higher levels of interest for their investment opportunities. And I guess for you guys here, it's actually a better time for you. Now is the time for you to think about investing in the UK because of our weaker pound. So I think that all adds up to us saying, Brexit, move on. It's old news. So just now moving on to future opportunities for Croydon. And we are saying that the best is yet to come. So what I don't want you to think is that you're sat here and actually it's all happened and there are no more opportunities. There certainly are. And we're saying the next 3 to 5 years is going to show some significant growth. I've already mentioned that £5.25 billion regeneration programme. It's going to create a significant number of new jobs to boost the economy, 23,000 and then an additional 5,000 plus in terms of the construction opportunities that are going to be brought in. And over 8,000 new homes are needed, have been identified as being needed in the London plan, just in the town centre alone, and they need to be delivered by 2031. Some of those are already on site, if we've seen, but there is still a growing need and a growing desire to build those homes in Croydon. So all that adds up to Croydon's being a modern European city centre, and this is a CGI of what we believe Croydon will look like in 5 years' time when the developments have been brought forward. A number of iconic high-rise buildings there. Croydon aren't frightened of going tall, and we already have a number of tall buildings, but a number of additional buildings planned. So what are the game changers? What has made the difference to Croydon? It came up on the slide. The biggest one, the thing that really did boost the confidence of developers, investors, was back in 2012 when Westfield did make that announcement that they had chosen Croydon as the next place for the third London Westfield. So retail-led regeneration is what that's about, although if you speak to them, as we do frequently, they would always say that they can't do it on their own. And their message from the beginning is that there's no point in us bringing a Westfield to Croydon if it doesn't have everything else that Croydon needs. And that really did galvanise a number of the sites that you're now seeing being delivered to come forward, recognising that there was a window of opportunity to start on site, to get properties built. The current estimation is that Westfield will be open in 2021. So really between now and 2021, there is only growth that can be expected. The creation of Westfield brings with it another 10,000 new jobs overnight, just in terms of them opening, with the retail vacancies that there will be. And the Westfield effect is known and proven to boost house prices. Back in October 2008, it was reported that there was a 12.79% increase when Westfield London opened in property prices compared to what was previously a 3.4% increase. So we know that between now and 2021, not only will things continue to improve, but at the point where Westfield opens, people will be wanting very much to live in Croydon. We're also very proud of the fact that just a week ago, Croydon opened London's second box park. Now, for those of you that don't know what a box park is, it's a shopping area built of shipping containers. We have one currently in London in Shoreditch. It's a meanwhile use project, so it's something which a developer decides to bring in whilst they are developing the land around. The one in Shoreditch has been hugely successful, and the company behind it, Box Park, decided to approach Croydon. And Croydon now has its first box park. It's 80 shipping containers, and it offers over 40 outlets for food, drink and leisure. And it has already dramatically changed the view of Croydon. If you come into Croydon now off of East Croydon Station, you will enter across this top area and you can walk down into this leisure area. And I have been totally amazed, I have to say. I've been there 3 times and every single time I've had to queue for drink, for food. It's absolutely packed. It's thriving. It's encouraging people to come out of Clapham, out of Balham, because suddenly they have somewhere to go. And if you're investing in Croydon and you think that there is no social, cultural life, you're wrong. It really has changed and will continue to change. I also want to talk about the leisure and cultural offer. Many of you will know about the Fairfield Halls. It's an iconic world-class concert hall that in its heyday really did attract the big names. I think every big band from the Beatles has played there. Sadly, it needed refurbishment, it needed major redevelopment, and the good news is that it has now shut. It's currently in the process of being redeveloped. A £30 million redevelopment that will open in 2 years' time. It will also mean that the whole of the area around the Fairfield will become a cultural destination with improved public realm. Croydon College, that's situated in that area, is also being redeveloped and resited within the area and will have a continued university status with Sussex University. And there's also going to be a 2,000 square metre art space. So I hope you're getting the feeling that Croydon isn't just about buildings anymore. It's about culture, it's about people, it's about living, working, playing, and really is an attractive opportunity. Transport, I've talked about it, but there is still more to come. £50 million worth of improvements have been guaranteed by the council, by TfL, Transport for London and the GLA to help improve yet further the offering at East Croydon, West Croydon and the Croydon tram service. I can't do this presentation without talking to you about the next building. One Lansdowne. It's been in the press. The owners, Guildhouse Rose Pride, who are in partnership with the China Building Technique Group, recently submitted an application for a revised plan. Unfortunately, it was turned down. This building is right next to 15 Lansdowne Road, and after this building you get to the new Westfield. So what's going to happen? Well, the great news is they will be on site in February 2017. They have a planning application. They're reverting back to their original application, which will see this iconic tower, which is designed by Piers Goff. It's a 55-storey tower, and you will see that going up alongside 15 Lansdowne. That road is really going to become the road to live in central Croydon by 2021. So that moves me on to 15 Lansdowne. And where is it in relation to everything that I've been telling you? So I'm going to take you on a bit of a virtual walk now. So I'm going to be leaving East Croydon Station. And as I leave East Croydon Station, you'll see some of the sites that are going to come up. And hopefully I can give you a feel for just how close 15 Lansdowne is to everything that I've said. So the first thing that happens is I come out of East Croydon Station and I hit upon this amazing cultural space that's been created, an outdoor space that you would see normally in central London. It has big screen showings of Wimbledon, the Olympics. It's a public space that you can go to and enjoy food and drink. If you buy a property in 15 Lansdowne, you have that on your doorstep. The next thing that happens is you get to the Stanhope Schroeder Ruskin Square development. I've already talked about it. It's where the Home Office is relocating to. It will also have amazing retail and restaurant offers. And as I exit the East Croydon station, the next thing that I see is a vastly improved public realm area. And in that picture, just past the last tree is 15 Lansdowne. I'm probably 2 minutes off of getting off my train right now. I've got off the train and I've walked through that walkway, and I'm now find myself at 15 Lansdowne Road. And the next building along is that iconic Piers Goff Tower, 1 Lansdowne. And the very next thing that happens is I cross over the main road and I walk into the new Westfield. So really, as an opportunity, and there are a number of others which we will briefly look at, this is the location for investment right at this moment in Croydon. So just moving on, if you go the other way, you'll see that Box Park pops up. So this is the Box Park. This is the other entrance to East Croydon. The next thing that happens is you get to the Cultural Quarter, and that then gives you the complete picture of Croydon within 10 minutes of 15 Lansdowne. So all the regeneration that's happening is within easy reach of 15 Lansdowne. So just finally to talk to you about where 15 Lansdowne is compared to some of the other residential developments that are happening at the moment, just to give you a bit of feel for how it stacks up. So firstly, a long time ago now, probably I think it was 2010, if not 2011, Berkeley Homes took a brave decision back then, and they started on site to deliver Saffron Square. That is now complete. All 744 units have sold, and are actually reselling a vastly improved rate, and they're averaging £700 per square foot. Moving on, just as you come out of East Croydon Station again, we have, as part of the Stanhope Schroeder Ruskin Square development, we have Vita, which is a new build again, and it's just phase 1 is just completing now. It will open officially and people will move in February. There are just 2 units remaining as of last week in that development. Typical price is £650 to £675 per square foot. On the opposite side of the railway line, you have a Red Row Homes development, Morello. It's a mixed-use development. When it's complete, it will have a very important addition in terms of a hotel offer. It'll have commercial space. But currently, they're building apartments. They're building 265 in phase 1, and 206 of those have already been sold. And again, averaging around £650 per square foot for that opportunity. Moving a little bit further away now from the town centre, probably a 10-minute walk as opposed to a 5, you get some buildings that have been acquired through permitted development. Now, I talked about the offices that had been empty for some time. Approximately 18 of those have gone to permitted development and are currently being converted into residential. And 2 of them are being done by Inspired. The first is Green Dragon House. It is an office conversion. It's a micro apartment model. So very small apartments, very high spec, and for that reason selling at a very high price of £900 to £1,000 per square foot, but currently all sold. And Impact House is their second development that they're moving on to. Similar model in terms of compactness. And they are currently selling off of plan, and they've got 107 of 197 units sold to date. So there's no shortage of appetite, people wanting to buy, and we are realising some quite significant rates. It's been my pleasure to talk to you about Croydon today. You can probably tell I do have a passion for it. I have believed in Croydon for a long time. I've worked there for over 30 years. I've seen Croydon go through the bad times, and there's been a few of those, believe you me. But I genuinely do believe that right now Croydon is the place to invest. I think it's the place to look at, and I think it has a really exciting future, whether you choose to live there, work there, play there, or simply just to invest your money there. I would really encourage you to join us in enjoying Croydon.